And that jarring cacophony tells you you're back with the Power of Three podcast. And today we're continuing our adventures with the Fugitive Doctor as we travel through Circuit Breaker, the BBC mixed media adventure that's taking place this autumn. It's bringing together a range of long-standing Doctor Who partners, including Titan Comics, Doctor Who Magazine, BBC Audiobooks, East Side Games, Puffin, Penguin, Random House and Big Finish. I'm Kenny Smith, and today we're going to be looking at the third adventure in the series, which is Doctor Who Magazine's very own comic strip special, which accompanies the latest magazine, the Honourable Society, which is a 20-page comic strip which has been written by Jason Quinn. But we're going to find out more about that very, very soon. So, shall we have a quick recap of what's happened so far? Part 1. Calling the Doctor. From the BBC website. Alien artefacts have appeared in UNIT's Black Archive, corrupted with an unidentifiable energy signature. Petronella Osgood and her assistant Andrew Turner have learned that this energy poses a threat to reality itself, and that the objects all relate to an incarnation of the Doctor. The artefacts are as follows: a clockwork droid mask, a memory worm chrysalis, a Gallifreyan time ring, a Carionite's crystal ball, a Sontaran helmet, a Sontaran mace and handcuffs, a weeping angel, and a Dalek gunstick. Andrew has created a device known as the Resistor, which can neutralise the energy around each item, but UNIT has no way of returning the objects to their proper place and time. They need the Doctor to do it for them. More importantly, they need a Doctor unconnected to any of the artefacts. They need the earliest incarnation, the mysterious Fugitive Doctor. Part 2. Adversary of the Daleks, published by Titan Comics. The Fugitive Doctor reluctantly agrees to help UNIT, although she is not unhappy about what she sees as unwanted interference, and Osgood and Andrew are finding this particular Doctor a lot more difficult to work with than any other. The Doctor takes a Dalek gunstick back to ancient Greece, where she encounters an alien race of refugees fleeing from the Daleks. The Doctor, the aliens, and the local people work together to combat the threat of a Dalek invasion. Things don't go as well as planned, and while the Doctor's mission is a success, there are plenty of casualties. Osgood and her assistant are not impressed with this Doctor's behaviour. Something will have to change. And now, to find out what happens next in Part 4, Circuit Breaker, the Honourable Society, available as a separate comic book pullout with the current issue of Doctor Who magazine, we're going to speak to its writer, who also happens to be the magazine editor. And we'll let him introduce himself.
Hi, I'm Jason Quinn. I'm the editor of Doctor Who magazine, and it's great to be here.
It's great to have you back, Jason. It's been a wee while, because I think the last time you were on was when you'd just been appointed to the job. So
yeah, so that's about 3 years ago now.
The Mighty Quinn, as we called the episode. I remember it well. So I'm sure you've never heard that one before. Thanks, Paul Jones. But yeah. So Circuit Breaker. This, of course, is the biggie that's been on, and I've been giving it some big licks in DWM this past couple of months.
We have, yeah. And it is the ongoing story at the moment. For this year, it's the big multimedia event. And this one, I think, is a good one. I think, and I've read or listened to, or, all the bits from the different licensees and different the different chapters of it. And I think it really holds together well. And it's a really good story. And of course, The Fugitive Doctor, as far as I'm concerned, to me personally, she's a fascinating character. And, she just is. It's like, okay, is that, I know some people are like, no, there's no way she's the first. Who can say? Who can say what her actual past really is? I think she's a great, Jo Martin is a terrific actress. And I think this character, being a bit more snarky than some, I think it's a great generation of the Doctor. It's a really good incarnation of the Doctor, and there are elements of her interpretation that I think you can see in all the past ones, which I really like. You can see she's funny, she's irascible, she's grumpy, she can then be caring as well as uncaring. There's all these, because let's face it, the past Doctors as well, they've not all been saints. They've not all been, they are at heart really, really good, but then so's she. So it's great to, I loved covering Circuit Breaker as it is, and it's great to have a little small role in it as well, carrying that story forward.
Yeah, and of course, last issue in 631, you got the chance to interview Jo as well.
Yes.
So how did you find her to be?
She was great. I mean, you meet quite a lot of people in the show there, but Jo was so, and I was a bit, a little bit apprehensive, a little bit nervous. Okay, what's she going to, we've only got, we were aware that we only had a short amount of time with her, but we went over because she's so chatty and so open and so funny. And, we were laughing, and she's great because she'll go off topic. Some people, they will only talk about the exact project that they're on. Everything else is out of bounds. Whereas Jo, it was just like having a chat with a pal. Yeah, I even got cooking tips off her, so it was great.
Interesting. And have you made the recipe yet?
I have. Yes, I have.
What was it? That's the big exclusive.
It was it was really nice. It was an oxtail dish, which I'd never tried doing before, and it was a lot of work. It was like it had to marinate for a couple of days and things. So it was a lot went into it, but she did. I love trying new things and new flavors that I've never tried before. So when she went into this and was kind enough to tell me the ingredients, I thought, well, I've got to try this. And it just turned me on to West Indian cooking in general, which was something I hadn't tried before, really, apart from jerk chicken and thing. But it opened up a whole new spectrum of flavors. So yeah, I'm forever grateful to her for that.
Fantastic. I recommend the restaurant chain Turtle Bay.
Oh yeah.
They do some very good sort of Jamaican and other sort of Caribbean foods there. So very, very good.
Yes.
And they have a loyalty scheme as well. So even better.
Oh, superb. Yes.
Keeps you going back. And they have a great deal in cocktails. But of course, listeners, we encourage you to please drink responsibly.
Of course. Yeah. Oh, I always do.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So Jason, here we go. We have got this wonderful new pull-out. Well, it's not really a pull-out. It's a separate magazine, the Honourable Society. So how did this all come about? Do you remember much about that initial meeting with all the various other licensees, sitting down and learning about it?
I do, yeah. So, yeah, we were there, Big Finish were there, Books were there. We were all sort of gathered. James Page, the brand manager, ran through it. Esme was there on Zoom and ran through the whole sort of project. They worked out not the story exactly, but a framework, a skeleton for the whole thing, going from with the different beats they wanted it to, they wanted the story to have in each chapter, so to speak. Also with that, that added thing that each story should be able to be enjoyed alone, so that, because yes, when it spreads over so many parts and so many different media, you have to be pretty dedicated to keep up with it and to get every single chapter. So you want to be able to enjoy it and not be, hang on, what's going on here? Which sometimes these big projects can get a little bit overwhelming. Whereas this, I think, from what I've seen of the others, can be enjoyed as standalone stories. Although, yeah, it improves and you do get more out of it if you carry on, and if you watch or enjoy or listen to or read the following episodes and chapters. So yeah, when we were there, they gave us the outline, and then it was more or less divided up which beats we would do, or who would get to do what, whether it would suit audio best, whether a certain chapter would suit comic strip or prose, or so yeah. And so I was pleased that we got one fairly early on, because while it has been very open and there's been a lot of sharing, and so we've been able to see what the others have been doing, a lot harder to keep track of the further down the road it goes. So we had, I think we're the third installment, we're the third chapter. So this story that we do, yes, it's a complete story, but it's also setting up things for the future, for the further installments that we'll get to see. And of course, I can't really give that away, what the bits are that we've set up, because you won't necessarily realize that if you're just reading it as a standalone thing. And that's fine, but it has set things in motion for what's to come.
Excellent.
But it was great. It was great fun to be part of it and have that say. So yeah, it was all very top secret, our big meeting.
So of course, you've written this one yourself with art from Anthony Williams. So
I know.
How did that come about? How did you find it? I
loved it. Well, I started out writing comics more than, so it was great to go back into that, because it's, I would do the odd little bit in there, but Alan Barnes is obviously, he's such a phenomenal writer for the magazine and so great at that, but didn't want to, while he's had the ongoing stories in the magazine, I didn't want to overload him, because he also has worked for Big Finish and he has for a lot of the other things. Didn't want to sort of overload him with that. And also it would have meant bringing him in on the whole, trying to explain all of the the ins and outs of Circuit Breaker to someone else. So part of it was laziness on my part. And I am joking. So I know people will often say Jason Quinn admits he's lazy. But part of it was, okay, it's going to be simpler if I do this. And also, it was a rare treat for me as well, because I haven't written a comic strip in quite a while. And so it was And I always did, I loved comics, loved writing them, loved doing that. So and also for a chance to, to write for Joe's Doctor was terrific, because I did do quite a few Capaldi ones back for Doctor Who Adventures, and I think I did one Jodie one as well. But so it was great to have the chance to come back and do that. I really enjoyed doing it.
Yeah, I can tell. Now, of course, the story is set in Italy, and as we were saying before we started, you've just come back from there on holiday. Is this a favourite place of yours to go?
It is, yeah. It's a great place to go. And while I have changed names and things, it's in the neighbourhood of where it's the second time I've been there now, and I had just come back from there a couple of months before Circuit Breaker came up, and I did think, ooh, actually, yeah, that would be really, it's a great setting for it. And I loved it in the classic series. When you would get things set like in Lanzarote or in Italy, or you get these sort of stories, and I thought, oh yes, that could be fun. And yeah, it is actually set near where I went on holiday, and the Honourable Society was a name given for sort of early, like the Gomorrah, the Camorra, and offshoots of the Mafia and things, which in their earlier incarnations weren't particularly like Marlon Brando or it was much more setting out a much more things like with them getting a monopoly on the lemon tree trade, or the and the fruit harvest. And so there's elements of that coming to it, only with aliens behind it, as opposed to The Godfather.
Yes, and talking of The Godfather, I'm laughing already. The name of Don Patata.
Well, yeah. And again, yes, Don Patata has...
That made me chuckle.
Yeah. And, I love Sontarans. And also, you see a lot of there in Italy. Now, whether that's the name he chose for himself, or whether it's because it's not like an army of Sontarans here. He's got part of a mission from his shadowy boss, or his shadowy there. He's setting up, so he's trying to pose as human, even though obviously he doesn't look it. And it's not but they're in Italy and things. There are a lot of nicknames you get that can be slightly rude or derogatory or whatever. So whether it's a name he gave himself, or whether it's one that his companions and the people working with him or the locals gave him, that's up to you to decide. I fondly imagine that it would probably be the locals would refer to him as that.
And I'm sure he's happily adopted it.
He would be much more, well, no, I am Commander,
Skreeg!
Yeah.
The Ninth Sontaran Battle Group.
Yeah, what
Something
is
like
it?
that.
Tata.
But it made me laugh. And of course, it's no secret to say that Sontaran's involved, because it's clear he's on the cover of the magazine. So, and there's something rather Galactus about him there in that picture, almost like Three Doctors cover in that Galactus comic from Fantastic Four as well.
Well, I loved all those early Stanley, Jack Kirby, Fantastic Four, and it is funny there. While the brief that I gave Anthony to do, the artist Anthony Williams, Can we think of something a bit like, the early Fantastic Four cover where they're in Latveria and there's Doctor Doom looming over them, and there'll be like a colour hold behind him, but he's sort of looming up. So it was very much those early Jack Kirby 60s covers that I was thinking of. So yeah, I'm glad you picked up on that.
Yeah, I'm not a huge comics person, but I know enough to spot a homage when I see one. So yeah, fantastic stuff. Well, Jason, thank you so much for your time and sharing this with us. And yes, looking forward to seeing what happens next, of course, when we find out Steve Lyons' audio adventure. And we'll be hearing more about that later this week.
Oh, yeah. Well, I've just listened to it and it's great. It's really good. So, yes.
Brilliant.
Yay.
Jason, we shall speak again soon.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much to Jason for that. DWM is still available in shops, so go out and get your copy now and you can keep up to date with what's happening in Circuit Breaker. And next time on The Power of Three, crikey, that sounds like a TV show, we'll be taking a look at the BBC audio release, which is going with this series. That's called The Deadliest Weapon and has been written by Steve Lyons and is read by Joe Martin. So, be back with us next time and we'll hear all about that. If you've enjoyed today's episode, feel free to leave a review for us wherever you get your episodes from. You can follow us on social media. We have a Facebook group, so come in and join the chat. We're on Twitter at Power of 3 Pod with a number 3, and we also have a Blue Sky account where we are at Finished Zine. Now it's time to go, and to play us out today we're going for a song. And I've gone for one that, well, it kind of stuck in my head from years ago when I first saw this film back in about 1990. The film was Society, which was a bit of a schlock body horror film, and it basically has all the posh people eating the poor people. That would never happen in real life, would it, kids? No further comment. Anyway, this ended with a version of the Eton Boat song, and that's what we're going to go with. We're going to go with that version from the end of Society. So until next time, I've been Kenny Smith. Bye-bye.